What's up, guys? Dylan here from 8 Deadly Sins. Welcome to Tarantula Thursday. I know I missed you guys last week. I was battling this cold. Still kind of congested, so don't mind my voice. I am feeling a little bit better, though. Thank you guys for the healthy wishes. Tis the season, you know. Anyways, today I want to talk about molt sexing. It's probably one of the most important parts of the hobby, determining whether or not your tarantula is a male or female. I know there's those keepers that don't really care either way, but if you're looking to breed, if you're looking to send your tarantula out to breed elsewhere, you're going to want to know these things and how far along into maturity is a spider. Today I have a few examples of what I can show you, and I have an example of male and female molts. So let's get started. All right, so let's start with the supplies. What do you need to molt sex correctly? I could show you what I use. I know other keepers have different ways of doing it, but this is my way. You're going to need a deli cup. This is just your standard 32 ounce. You can also use like a Tupperware, or if you have like a extra one of these, as long as it holds water, you're fine. So I just use this because it's small and convenient, and I can just store it away when I'm not using it. So you'll also need some of this. Go ahead and blur out the label, but you know what it is. It's dish soap. You're only going to need a tiny drop of this. So if you don't have any at home, don't go out and buy a gigantic bottle. I think the dollar store carries like the small bottles. That'll be plenty enough for however many molts. I mean, you're only going to need one drop. I'll show you that here in a little bit. So that, you're going to need a paper plate. You can also use a paper towel. If you use a paper towel, make sure to put it like on a deli cup lid, and then lay the paper towel on top of here and put the light, underneath it. I always use paper plates. They're cheap, they're disposable. You don't have to worry about it. You'll need a light. This one here is just a headlamp. It was a headlamp at one point. It had things on it, but it broke. So now I just use it as a little like handheld light. You can use a little flashlight. I know those little tiny flashlights, they work great. As long as you can get light underneath the paper plate, you'll be solid. Last thing, you'll need some tweezers. These are important because you'll need the finest tweezers you could find. The finer, the better. I have 2 pairs like this, and it helps really because my fingers are clumsy, so it helps to do what I need to do. All right, so that's step 1. Let's move to step 2. All right, so step 2, you're just going to take a little bit of your dish soap, and like I said, literally, this is all you need. Bam, bam, bam. That might even be a little too much. Okay, and then you're going to want to run warm water. So you don't have to have it hot, just warm, lukewarm, bathtub warm. And then I'm going to show you a little trick here in just a second. My water takes forever. I don't know about you guys, but my water takes forever to warm up. So we're just going to watch that sink run for a second. All right, and then once you have your water warm, go ahead and slow it down to where it's, just like this. So you'll want to fill it up to, you don't have to fill it up all the way, but you'll want to fill it up a good amount. Probably like right there is good. The reason why you slow the water down is because so you don't end up with a bunch of bubbles. When you put the water in too fast, obviously it's going to mix the soap faster, and you end up with a ton of bubbles. Just makes things a little bit harder. So you want to slow your water down going into the cup, so you end up with smooth, soapy water. So this is my first molt. This is a Venezuelan sun tiger, the Salmopaeus urbania. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. It's just dry skin. So we're going to let this sit for about 5 minutes or so, and we'll come back. Alright, so after your molt sits in the soap for a little bit, go ahead and give it one last quick little twirl to get all the suds off it. And go ahead and pluck that thing out of there. And lay it out on your plate like this. Then we're going to come over here. And we're going to put a light behind it. So keep it, you know, kind of centered, fold it open. You'll see how it lights up. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and then I'll be right back. Alright, so once you have it spread out and then you have the light underneath it, you'll see this is my female. She's pretty close to maturity. You'll see these two bunny ears. There they are. 1, 2. See those? And then right in front of it will be a flap. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera. That's your uterus externus. Every spider will have one of those. Every spider except for the Enciocratella olivacea, the Tanzanian black and olive, I'm sorry, will have spermatheca, which is what you're looking at here. These bunny ears, alien ears, whatever you want to call them, those are your spermatheca. Those are the female sex organs that are used for storing sperm from the male. Excuse me. So when you have an insemination, the male will deposit their sperm into the inside of the spermatheca. Now, when tarantulas give birth, they'll develop eggs inside the abdomen, and then once they drop the eggs, the sperm will be released from the spermatheca. So essentially they'll get fertilized on the way out, rather than like in mammals where everything is fertilized internally. These guys have a pretty ancient way of breeding and, you know, laying the eggs and getting their offspring out there. So essentially that's what you're looking for, and I'll show you a different species here in a second. Alrighty, so another species, this is the Cereopagopus schmidti, the Chinese golden earth tiger. You'll see how her female parts are differently shaped. So hers are like a sideways B almost. Every species is going to be different. So your Avix and your Salmopaeus and your Cereopagopus, they're all going to look different. But essentially, that's what you're looking for in a molt. Try to get a better angle at it. And it really helps with the light, you know, kind of lit behind it. And again, you'll see spermatheca, which is a sideways B shape. In front of it is going to be your uterus externus. And that is how you know if your female is sexually mature, because do you see how dark that spermatheca is? I mean, it barely shows up at light. Once it gets hardened like that, and once your tarantula is in the vicinity of, you know, 75% of the adulthood, like let's say you have a 6-inch spider. Once that spider hits 4.5, 5 inches, you should be able to see that spermatheca darken up. That's just used for an example. So 75% is right about the where you want your spider to be to breed. And this one, she looks nice and dark. So this one actually produced for me not too long ago. So I did produce with this girl, and she just molted right in time for this video. So I figured I'd show it off. There's a better shot of it. And you'll see spermatheca, uterus externus. Again, this is where the male puts his emboli on the outside and stores the sperm. When she drops eggs, she'll lay the eggs through here, and the sperm will actually fertilize the eggs on the way out. It's actually a very cool way of reproduction. Okay, now I'll show you a male molt. So this is an example of a male. See the lack of spermatheca? I know the molt is a little bit ripped right there, but here's essentially where the sex organs are. Obviously, males don't need to store sperm, so they don't have the spermatheca. So they'll essentially have this, it's like right here, you'll see a dark, and then there'll be a bald spot right there. You may see gonopore, or the male accessory organs. Here, if you zoom close enough, see there's one right there, there's one right there. Those are not to be confused with spermatheca. Those are essentially tarantula testicles. And usually you won't be able to see those until your spider gets a little bit bigger. And I'll only show you one male because that's essentially throughout every species. It'll be the same thing. It'll just be darker here with a little bald spot here. There won't be any spermatheca. There won't be any flap there. There won't be anything there. All right, so I showed you some physical molts that I have here. I have plenty more, but essentially I just wanted to show you like what to look for. Here's a picture of Ensiocratella olivacea. As you can see, they don't have spermatheca. They have a uterus externus, but there's no spermatheca. So essentially that spider can molt, and it doesn't even need to be prepared to drop an egg sac. It could actually molt out, and then after pairing, it could still have an egg sac because it doesn't have any spermatheca. It could store it right essentially where it needs to be inside the actual body of the spider. Here's a picture of Poecilotheria. As you can see, it's pretty hard to see if you're not looking for it. Essentially, usually wait until 2.5 to 3 inches to try to sex pokies, just because of the small spermatheca. Another species would be like the green bottle blue, the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens. They have very small spermatheca. Megaphobema robustum, same thing. You usually wait until 2.5 to 3 inches to try to sex those guys. All right, and there you have it. Hope you guys learned something today. Just kind of touching on molt sexing and how to properly do that. Again, that's just my way. Everybody has their ways of doing it. If you ever have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. or send me a message on any of my socials. I'm always active. I can answer any questions you guys may have. Give me a like and follow, subscribe. I am thinking about doing a Patreon, but it's still up in the air. I'm just trying to make it fair for everybody. So when I get that figured out, then I'll drop that on my social. So make sure to follow that on my Facebook, because that's where all my announcements are, on my Instagram, Facebook, things like that. That's where I put all my announcements on what new inventory I have, videos coming up, auctions coming up, things like that. So you guys want to make sure to follow that as well. But until next Thursday, I'll see you guys later. I hope you had a great day.